There are a few different ways you can invest in US stocks from Australia, and this might even apply to other countries as well. There are various Australian-based trading platforms. There are Australian bank online stockbrokers like CommSec and NabTrade. And nowadays you can also trade directly with a US stockbroking platform. In this video, I'm going to show you examples of all these ways you can buy US stocks so you can understand some of the pros and cons and help you decide which platform is right for you. G'day everyone and welcome to the channel. Over the past few years, the US stock market has been running hot, both in terms of results and in amount of news we see down here in Australia. In the media, we're always hearing about the performance of the big tech firms, whether it's Google, Facebook, and more recently Tesla. And especially if you're on finance, YouTube, or TikTok, you're seeing all these people talk about US stocks, penny stocks, options, and other instruments. And sometimes it can feel like we're missing out. I mean, we have the ASX, but that's small fry in comparison to the size of the US markets. So eventually, if you're like me, the curiosity will get the better of you, and you might want to dabble into some US stocks and options. This video will introduce you into the many ways you can do just that. Now, please keep in mind, this is not financial advice. I can't cover every pro and con of every platform I'm featuring today. Some have good reviews, some have bad reviews. It's up to you to do your own due diligence when selecting a broker or trading platform. But with that being said, I will give you an overview to kickstart your ideas of what these platforms offer. First platform we're going to look at is Etoro. This platform is probably one of the easiest one to use. It has a very user-friendly interface, and the app has this gamified feel. It's almost like it's a gambling app. This platform is fine if you're a beginner. They offer many different US stocks. In fact, I think they offer every stock that's in the S&P 500. Here you've got Tesla, Amazon, Apple, all your big stocks, some commodities like gold, and they even have crypto. But what I found is that you won't find more of the riskier stocks or penny stocks, nor can you trade things like options. Very easy to navigate, and they have these features where you can invest in other people's portfolios and essentially copy their portfolios. And they even call it that, copiers. You can earn what these people earn, and whatever money you put in will get allocated to their portfolio. Like I said, it does have a feel of a betting app, so you really need to have discipline and understand what you're doing. One good feature is that they don't have transaction fees. Instead, they make money from the spread, and I believe it's a $50 minimum per trade. It's got a very social Facebook feel. You've got a feed here and people are commenting and posting all sorts of stuff. I would say if you are new to investing, only start with a small amount, but a decent place to start. If you're a more astute investor, there's nothing wrong with investing more with Etoro. You just might be limited to the big US stocks. No penny stocks, no options, like I said. But one to check out if you want a no fuss, low barrier to entry investing. One thing to note, like many of the platforms I'll feature today, you're not directly investing in the stock. You don't own the stock. Etoro will hold it on your behalf. It's like a custodian relationship. Okay, next up we have Plus 500. Plus 500 is similar to Etoro in that it's very easy to navigate and very much a betting site feel. On the downside, there are a lot less stocks to invest in, both Australian and US stocks and international indices here. But you can invest in some options. You can see Alphabet, Facebook, Apple, Snap, Amazon. So just the big tech options. And they are limited to options expiring in 1 month or less. But you do have that extra feature if you just want to dip your toes into options trading. I wouldn't recommend if you're more of an advanced investor, but if you are new and just want to learn and get some skin in the game, it's fine with a small amount. I'd say really no more than $100 to start with, because chances are you will lose it, especially if you're betting and investing on these more riskier options. Also, no transaction fees. You just got to be aware of these big juicy spreads. Next up, we're going to look at stock trading platforms that are offered by the Big Four bank. What's to say about these? Well, they are more trustworthy. You know you can get help here in Australia. You might already have an account with them, so it might be a little easier to understand what you're doing through their platform. Although I hear there is plenty of paperwork to do if you want to trade international shares. This is their transaction fees for Australian shares. So you got NABTrade, CommSec, ANZ, Westpac. You got $20 brokerage fees. So it's pretty similar to Australian share brokerage fees. Next, as far as the Aussie companies options go, we've got Self Wealth, we've got Stake, CMC Markets, and IG Markets, which might be better choices than the banks for lower transaction fees, but I don't think they offer options trading, and you've got to be careful with some of their other features like CFD tradings, which can be super risky. And this is a good little table just to show you the difference between CFDs and stockbroking. Stockbroking, you own the asset. CFDs, you don't. And CFDs are more for trading the rise and fall of markets day to day, where stockbroking is more you buy, you hold for a while. And then I found out there's also one called Interactive Brokers. And Interactive Brokers do offer options and low commission trading. So this might be a good one to look into if you do want to trade options and all sorts of different instruments. However, note this is also done through a custody arrangement. Even their Australian shares are not CHESS sponsored. If you're looking to trade options, this might be a good option. The next group of platforms I'm going to look at are probably your best choice if you're a serious investor, if you want to day trade US stocks, you want to swing trade, or you want to buy options in a huge variety of different companies. And that's to actually sign up with a US company, a company that's based in the United States. You might have heard of Robinhood, which are not available to Australians, but there are better rated US brokers that are available to international investors. So we have Tradestation, which I have an account with, and I can tell you that it did take a fair bit of paperwork to set up, and you have to sign some US tax documents. Once you've done that, you get an account and it just operates like a normal account, and you have access to penny stocks, every option that any American has access to. Just one thing to note is that you do have to wire money across, so that could take a few days. Another one that has a really good rating, even better rating than Tradestation, is TD Ameritrade, and you can read up about how to sign up for an international brokerage account. There's also other ones with good ratings. Fidelity is one I've heard of. You can see here Interactive Brokers, the US version, which shows why you can access US stocks from Australia with an Australian Interactive Brokers account. One thing to note with investing in US stocks with these platforms is that unlike if you buy shares in Australia with CommSec or NABTrade and you are CHESS sponsored, you're registered as an owner with the ASX of that particular company. With investing in US stocks through these platforms, it's set up through a custodian. And you can see here even the difference between CommSec and Self Wealth. For ASX shares, they are CHESS sponsored, but it's a custody model for global stocks. And you can see here custody model for US stocks, which means if the company happens to go bust or the platform happens to go bust, it might be a bit harder to get whatever money's left over, and you might rank a little lower in the pecking order of who gets paid out from any recouped funds. And I found this as well interesting, comparing CommSec to Stake. You can see here CommSec International's custodian is Pershing LLC, which is a subsidiary of the Bank of New York Mellon. And Stakes is, their broker is Drive Wealth LLC, and their custodian is Citibank. If you really want to dive into the terms and conditions, you can read more about what would happen in the event of a company going bust, what is their process, and you can also read up on their track records as well if you are investing a lot of money and you want the safest possible option. Anyway, guys, that is just a bit of a preview of your options if you want to invest in US stocks or options. As always, this is not financial advice, and I do stress that before investing or choosing a platform, make sure you research thoroughly what each one has to offer, what their terms and conditions are, which custodians they use and what their track record is and who's backing them, and understanding what would happen to your money if either the companies you invest in go belly up or even the trading platforms themselves go bust, what will happen to your investments? Make sure you understand all this before investing, unless you're really happy just to put in a small amount that you're not scared to lose for the purposes of learning and dipping your toes in. If you have any questions or other platforms you want me to look into, let me know in the comments below. Anyway, guys, that will be the video for today. Any questions or comments, let me know down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.